Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're passionate about higher ed, student success, or honestly just fascinated by how structured communities can completely transform the way we learn, you are in the exact right place. Today, we are unpacking the data-backed blueprints that top institutions all over the globe are using to build incredibly supportive, thriving campus communities. We're going to look at the absolute game changer that is peer academic leaders, or PALs, and see exactly how they're reshaping the higher education landscape.
Okay, let's dive into this. How do we actually solve the global dropout crisis? Because right now, higher education is facing a massive retention problem. Think about this statistic for a second. First-year dropout rates can actually top 20%. That's literally 1 in 5 students who walk through the university gates and just don't come back for their sophomore year. And, that's not just a lost tuition dollar. That is a derailed dream. It's a stalled career, and honestly, a systemic failure. We can't just slap a Band-Aid on a problem of this magnitude. We need a structural, proven solution to stop the leak. And the data? It points us directly to peer-led initiatives. So here are the architectural plans for today's explainer. We'll start with the PAL Advantage, then we'll look at core pillars and frameworks. After that, proven impact and results. Next up, training and implementation. And finally, launching your PAL program.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the PAL Advantage. So, who exactly are these leaders? Well, peer academic leaders, or PALs, are typically your sophomores, juniors, or seniors. And it's not just about having a high GPA. They are carefully selected for their empathy and leadership potential. They act as mentors, sure, but the absolutely crucial point here is that they serve as relatable side-by-side guides. They aren't top-down authorities. For a first-generation college student or a new transfer, the university environment can be incredibly intimidating. PALs break down that wall because they've just walked that exact same path. They speak the same language as the incoming students.
Now, traditional tutoring is great, but it's strictly academic, right? You go in, you learn calculus, you realize you still hate calculus, and you leave. But the holistic PAL model, it's a completely different ballgame. It integrates study strategies, yes, but also time management, resource access, and vital social integration. A perfect example of this is happening over at Southern Methodist University. They're actually embedding PALs directly into their residential commons. So these mentors live right where the students live, planning educational programs and demystifying college expectations directly in the dorms. It's this fully relational approach that turns a daunting, giant campus into a supportive home. Moving right along to Section 2, Core Pillars and Frameworks. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this action research model from Technological University Dublin. It's called the 4Cs Framework, developed specifically for mature and access students. It systematically builds both learner comprehension and vital community bonds through 4 interconnected steps. First, building confidence through peer encouragement. Second, fostering collaboration in group activities. Third, enhancing communication skills. And fourth, promoting critical reflection on the learning process itself. When institutions adopt this exact structure, they don't just see better grades, they see deeper community bonds and sustained academic gains, because students are actively engaged in how they learn. Beyond the 4 Cs, every successful PAL program is engineered with a strict set of core pillars. It starts with rigorous selection. You need that 3.0 or higher GPA, but you also need serious interpersonal skills. Then there's curriculum integration, which is huge. Like, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro actually requires their PALs to complete a dedicated course on leadership and pedagogy before they're even allowed to lead first-year seminars. And the best programs, they match mentors and mentees based on shared backgrounds to maximize relatability. You don't just throw people together, you structurally design the program so mentees literally see themselves in their mentors. Okay, let's move to Section 3, proven impact and results. The so what of it all. 23%. Just let that sink in. Data from Sacramento State shows that students who use PAL programs see a 23% increase in their course grades. Think about the real-world impact there. That is the difference between failing a core prerequisite and passing it. It's the difference between losing a scholarship and staying enrolled. For a participating student, a 23% boost isn't just a number on a page. It is a completely transformative, life-changing shift that keeps their academic journey alive. And the momentum keeps going globally. Over in Australia, the University of New South Wales rolled out their PASS program, which is a variation of the PAL model. The result? They boosted student retention by an impressive 18%. That is 18% more students deciding to stay, to keep pushing forward, simply because they had a structured peer support system guiding them through the turbulence of university life.
To round out this rapid-fire data sequence, let's look at the UK. The University of Reading used this exact model and reduced their overall student attrition by 12%. Whether it's the US, Australia, or the UK, the data universally proves this architecture works. And honestly, we aren't even touching on the qualitative gains, like mentees reporting way less isolation or the PALs themselves building incredible leadership and resume skills that give them a massive leg up in the job market. And this brilliantly illustrates how versatile this blueprint is across global case studies. Barnard College highly tailors their program for first-generation students, doing year-long paired advising that covers both academics and emotional support. Meanwhile, the University of Bath uses a more academic focus, with voluntary student-led study groups that yield higher pass rates in notoriously brutal modules. And Southern Cross University uses drop-in support to help acclimate both international and domestic students. It is one foundational framework, brilliantly adopted to serve totally different, vulnerable student populations. Which brings us to Section 4, Training and Implementation. How do we actually build this? Look, you cannot just throw a smart student into a room and expect them to instantly be a good mentor. Success hinges entirely on chronological, step-by-step preparation. Step 1. Week 1 has to focus on orientation, program goals, and crucial ethical boundaries. By Step 2, Week 2, training shifts to active listening and managing group dynamics. And it doesn't stop there. Step 3 is ongoing monthly reflection check-ins with supervisors. This rigorous prep is absolutely necessary because these PALs are dealing with complex, real-world needs, everything from a peer facing academic probation to someone going through severe cultural adjustments. Now, constructing anything worthwhile comes with hurdles, and we need to address them openly. Post-pandemic mentor recruitment has been tough, and scaling these programs across a campus of 30,000 students is logistically daunting, but the solutions are completely within reach. Need to boost recruitment? Deploy your current successful PALs as student ambassadors. Let them be the face of the program. And to solve the scaling issue, lean into hybrid formats. Blending virtual and in-person sessions lets you reach a massive student body, while maintaining high participation rates and ensuring equity, so underrepresented voices can easily lead and participate. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds for the future. In the present day, we're seeing the integration of AI tools for seamless scheduling and tracking apps for personalized data analytics. But looking ahead to post-2025, the critical focus shifts to integrating mental health wellness check-ins. As universities rightfully prioritize student well-being, PALs will be given specialized training to act as an early warning support system, making these programs even more central to student survival and success.
All right, final stretch. Section 5, Launching Your PAL Program.
I want to walk you directly through these 5 launch steps. Step 1, assemble a cross-departmental team to get that campus-wide buy-in. Step 2, recruit leaders using real incentives like academic credit or stipends. Step 3, design that rigorous evidence-based training we just covered. Now, Step 4 is your most strategic move. Launch your pilots specifically in high DFW courses. Those are the classes with the highest drop, fail, withdraw rates. That is exactly where you'll maximize your immediate impact and prove the program's worth. Finally, Step 5, track your retention analytics and scale up based on the hard data, iterating every single year. And that brings us to our final, lingering question. What steps will you take tomorrow to empower your students and construct a thriving campus community? The blueprints are drawn. The data globally proves that peer academic leaders can dramatically halt the retention crisis and turn a daunting university into a supportive home. If you are ready to put this into action but need expert guidance, I highly recommend checking out Academic Jobs' Peer Academic Leader, or PAL, Academy. They are absolutely the premier organization to conduct your PAL training and get your program off the ground. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you next time.